So, for anyone watching thinking that this is totally for kids content because, my thumbnail and my character sprites, this shit is not for kids. Get it through your thick skulls, you fucking boomers. I'm honestly at a loss for what to do over this whole state of affairs on YouTube. I really wanted to turn this channel into an animation, voice acting, and art channel, but it seems my dreams are crushed. I'm lost for words. I don't know what to do. Anyway, let's go on to reading the next chapter of the Danish Slaughterhouse. We have to fight back. Emil lifted his head off Lucas's lap, jolted awake from his half-sleep by his older brother's words. They were hiding together behind the bathtub of the guest bathroom after moving to another safe spot, following one of Matthew's rules to move periodically, yet still following an unspoken agreement to disregard the other rule of separating from each other. Even though they didn't say it out loud, they knew that separation this far into the hunt was pointless, especially when one of them, if not both, was going to die anyhow. It was decided in that split second when Lucas and Emil met again that they were going to hide and stay put, and hope they can run the clock to its final second and make it out alive. Which was why Emil was absolutely confused and stunned at Lucas's suggestion when he replied, "You're joking, right?" Lucas shook his head and sighed softly, already predicting a protest from his younger brother coming. He couldn't blame him, though. Even though Lucas contemplated fighting back against Matthews and escaping with his little brother, he himself didn't know how he was going to do that with them both at a disadvantage. Ugh. Lucas groaned and pressed his palm against his head, for pain pulsed against his skull. And that damn headache. "Lucas, are you okay?" Emil asked as he reached to cup Lucas's face in his hands. Lucas waved Emil's hands away. Yeah, I'm fine. Just those nanobot things getting to me, I think. Okay then, but still, what you just said is ridiculous. And why's that? You know why. Keep it down, Emil, you don't have to yell. Emil lowered his voice to a harsh whisper as he continued. We can't because we'll be killed. Matthews went against all of us, and he's still walking around like some indestructible freak. And I don't think he's even gotten any sleep. And these little robot things. He still has the remote control to set them off inside us if he wanted to. And Lucas, no. Lucas grimaced, pained by the terror plaguing Emil's eyes, but still adamant on his stance. And the alternative is better, staying in one spot for hours on end and praying that he doesn't find us, only moving out in the open where he could find us, and then he could surely get us. Emil, we're screwed either way, and we might as well fight back. Lucas, not every time we switch hiding spots, Matthias comes out to get us. We got here without him spotting us, right? Yeah, but he's looking for us, and this is safer. Lucas, please don't make me go out there. No, please. We can't keep hiding like this. My head. See? You can't even fight yourself. You're not feeling well enough to face Matthias, especially with that wrist and headache of yours. And I'm still injured, so neither of us can do it. Emil, I'm fine, okay? They're just random migraines and a sprained wrist. And even if I do have some head trauma, I can still fight. We can still fight. In case you didn't know, Matthias has to be very exhausted and injured too, and there's two of us. We could do something. 2 against 1. Emil's eyes started to glisten, and Lucas could practically feel the frightened pleas intensify before Emil opened his mouth again. Lucas, we'll do something about our predicament. We'll make a strategy of sorts and go against him 2-1. Not even that determined to a fault thing can withstand a fight from 2 people at once while he's weakened. When Emil started to shake his head, Lucas held onto Emil's shoulder with his good hand and looked into his eyes. Trust me and fight with me. I won't let you get hurt anymore. Emil looked down at the floor, concentrating on the tile's patterns as he tried not to cry. Fight with me or you'll end up like Peter. Emil's eyes flickered up to Lucas's face, noticing the little features like his jaw locking and eyes hardening in frustration. And he knew that the decision was set in stone now, whether he liked it or not. Okay, he murmured, nodding in resignation and shaking at the thought of what he can only imagine happened to Peter after he fled. Thank you, Emil. Lucas pulled Emil into a small hug and wiped away a tear that ran down Emil's cheek with his thumb. It's going to be okay. We're going to get out of this. I hope you're right, goddammit. Emil sniffled as he got out of the hug. He rolled his sleeve up to his elbow and checked his watch. So we have about 15 minutes to come up with a brilliant plan before we have to go back out there and risk our necks for a possibility. Any ideas? Huh, I didn't know you had a watch. Emil held up his wrist and waved it around. You haven't noticed this bulky green glowing thing at all? I had it for a while now. Hey, didn't you have one of the same thing? Yeah. Lucas took his broken wrist in his other hand and held it up. He noticed how bare it actually is. Letting his arm fall, he grumbled, "Oh, fuck. It must have come off when I fought Matthias a couple days ago. Shit! So is that why your wrist is broken? Because of him? How else could it get broken in here? Damn, I wish I had painkillers now." Emil pushed himself off the floor and steadied himself along the walls as he made his way to the sink as soundlessly as he can. Tugging the cleanest towel he saw off its rack, Emil held it under the faucet and ran the cold water on low. When the whole towel was wet and cold enough, Emil shut off the faucet and squeezed the excess water from the makeshift compression and hobbled back to their original spot. He lowered himself slowly to his knees to not disturb his ankle and pressed the cold towel onto the temple of Lucas's head. Lucas placed his hand on the towel and held it in place. Thanks. Is it helping at all? Yes, it's working a little. Okay. Emil moved next to Lucas and stretched out his legs as much as he can in the small hiding area, leaning against Lucas's shoulder and staring absent-mindedly at the wall. After a couple of minutes of silence, Emil spoke up. So anything? Not yet. Me neither. Damn, this is hard. How does Matthias do it? Dunno. I guess he just got good at it over the centuries. Though why he decided to go back to his barbaric roots instead of using his strategic skills to help out impoverished citizens in his country, I'll never know. Lucas paused and turned the towel around to press its colder side to his head. Damn, we need a miracle at this point. Big miracle, Emil muttered. He sighed and pouted. It's times like this when I wish you still practice magic. Lucas looked at Emil quizzically, not because he was confused, but because something started to snap inside him when he heard that word. Magic? Yeah, I didn't want to admit it back then, but you did some pretty cool stuff with those magic tricks and stuff. It was nice, even when I grew older, Emil smiled fondly at the memories. You were really good at it back then. Lucas scoffed humorously. Were? You make it seem like I lost my touch. No, I didn't mean it like that. I just thought that you didn't do magic stuff anymore. Wait. Emil straightened up and looked into Lucas's eyes eagerly. Does that mean you can use magic? Well, yeah. That means you can use spells to get us out of here. Yeah, Emil, but I still need my... Lucas gasped, staring blankly ahead of him as something was working inside his mind. In his head there was a final snap, as if once rusted gears started to work again, hoping to connect his conscious thought to memories hidden in his subconscious. It was as if a curtain was lifted and that nothing was blocking him from accessing the one thing he knew he needed but couldn't place a name to. In that instant, the intense migraines he suffered, which he now figured was nothing more than a blockade, disappeared, and he lowered the hand that was holding the now unneeded compression. Emil gently shook Lucas's shoulder. Lucas? My spell book. Yeah, you still got it, right? God, I hope so, Lucas said as he got to his feet and started towards the door. Huh? What does that mean? Emil rose to his feet as well and followed Lucas. Aw, man, you didn't bring it with you, did you? No, I did, Lucas said as he checked both ends of the hallway before rushing out to get to his guest bedroom. But Matthias, he knows I have it too. Wait, you don't think... Emil trailed off, both the fear of the answer and the pain lingering in his legs, stopping him from finishing the question. The answer came anyway. Sneaking into his bedroom with his brother close behind, Lucas went to the trunk at the end of the bed. Both the latch and the lock that kept it closed were smashed to pieces. Lucas lifted the lid anyway, hoping that there was some miracle after all, but doing so only confirmed his fear. The compartment was emptied of all its content, especially the one thing they needed the most. Fuck. Lucas grunted softly. He then slammed the lid closed, too frustrated to be cautious about making loud noises. Fuck! Emil's stomach dropped to the stomach as the familiar sense of hopelessness washed over him. They were going to die. They were going to die, and he knew it. No matter what they did, Matthias was always 2 steps ahead in this game he made. Emil felt another breakdown coming. Not sure what to do, Emil simply looked around the room. He needed to calm down, just distract himself. There has to be someplace other than the truck that book may be hiding. Oh? Emil whispered as his eyes caught something. Lucas? What a mill, Lucas groaned as he rubbed his forehead. Emil pointed. I think Matthias left us something. Lucas raised an eyebrow at Emil before turning his head to where Emil was pointing. Taped to the wall were a couple pieces of paper, yellow with age and ripped at the edges. Lucas stood up and went to the pages. He gingerly fingered the paint until the pages came off the walls and tried to read what was on them. Black marker blocked almost all of the words, but Lucas only needed to say the name on top, heavily circled and with, I think this is what happened to you, Norge, Leslie scrawled next to it, to know what this meant. What is it? Emil asked as he tried to read over his brother's shoulder. This spell, it was the one that I was experiencing when we first arrived here, Lucas murmured mostly to himself. He flipped the first page over, still blocked out with black marker on the back, and glanced at the page that was taped behind it. This too was written with marker, except for the title, and this too was what clarified things for Lucas. Emil squinted hard as he tried to read the paper too. But Bana? What's that? Lucas visibly sulked. It's Old Norse, and it's not good. The spell has to be over with now, Matthias thought as he sat back in his desk chair toying with the pages of the spellbook that he balanced on his crossed legs. If the spell Bana, or forbidden, or forbid, sorry, it's not forbidden, it's forbid, was over with, then Matthias figured that Lucas had started looking for his spellbook now. The spell was pretty simple, too. Just as the name said, it forbids whatever the spellcaster from happening. In Matthias' case, it was preventing Lucas from remembering his spellbook and all the tricks in it, just for 3 days, enough for Matthias to study it a little himself, which was how he found the reactionary spell that made Lucas flip out in the beginning, and see how he can use it himself. In all honesty, Matthias counted this as fate working for him. He was planning on going about completing his goal by simply playing along and hunting down his targets one by one, and letting the after effects come naturally. Matthias happened to come across the book while he searched in Lucas's room for a mill, because he was sure at the time that he saw the little brat run in there, and as he flipped through the pages he found that the book can give him a major advantage in this game, so much so that he was surprised that Lucas hadn't come for it. And he had to be sure that Lucas didn't come back for the spellbook until it was long gone, as well as be sure that he himself didn't go overboard with it. The gleam Matthias had as he secretly stole the book, which was hard to do since it was so heavy and large under the flap of his robe, to take back to his study before he spotted a mill that one day was addictive. The possibilities the book provided to help Matthias win, that Matthias strived to win, but he knew he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be as fair about it as possible, because only good leaders tamper their power enough so that their subordinates don't get hurt too badly. So instead of casting every spell that appealed to him, Matthias limited himself to only a couple. One for blocking Lucas' memories of the spellbook's existence, and another to heal his wounds one time. The rest of the time was spent reading through the contents, looking for any other spell he could use for later, a really important one that he hopes can help him get the progress moving. As Matthias did so, his phone vibrated on his desk. He reached for it with one hand as the other continued to flip through the spellbook. When the screen on his phone kept going on the fritz, Matthias had to twist the adapter plugged into the phone and wave the phone itself around until it got a decent enough connection. The thing that sent his phone abuzz was a news alert. He tapped the screen and brushed his fingertips over it to scroll, skimming the paragraphs and feeling his lips curl upwards at the information he was reading. Just then Matthias heard a resounding slam from down the hallway, followed by an even louder obscenity shouted that made the smirk on his face grow. He had half a mind to go pursue his out-and-about boyfriend, since it was indeed time to go searching for the last 2 targets. But no, not now. Maybe in a few minutes, to build up the suspense for them a little to make it more fun. Right now, he had some spells to memorize. And that's everything. So, I'm not going to be checking over the last few chapters to see, what their length is, because I don't want to accidentally spoil myself on anything, so, yeah, I'll see you guys next time.